This is Impact Wrestling.
What's up, Sudden Impact fans? Today I'm going to be talking about the upcoming Slammiversary pay-per-view and some of the news and rumors and matches scheduled at the moment for the pay-per-view. So let's crack on. And so we get right into it with the ad or the promo for it, which was first screened at the Impact Wrestling's Rebellion pay-per-view. And that showed a number of flags and wrestlers from WWE who were recently released, as well as New Japan Wrestling, which is Impact's partner promotion. So some of them, the WWE wrestlers were Samoa Joe, Mickie James, Chelsea Green, also known as Laurel Van Ness in Impact, as well as the flags of Mexico, Australia, Canada, representing Kalisto, who was also one of the wrestlers released by WWE. The Iconics, the Australian flag, and we don't know at this stage who is represented by the Canadian flag. Also, it featured Kazuchika Okada and the team of No Limit, Tetsuya Naito and Yujiro Takahashi, as well as the Great Muta, who's from Pro Wrestling Noah. And on the May 20th episode, there was a new video which was featuring the logo of Bullet Club and the two capital I letters, which was presumably for the Iconics, and also the words Forgotten, obviously referencing Steve Cutler and Wesley Blake. Steve Cutler has already joined Impact Wrestling under the name of Macklin, and Wesley Blake, I'm not sure. So hopefully those guys he gets brought in as well. And also the word yes, possibly referring to Daniel Bryan, but who knows? With all of that said, the card is being built up nicely, and the matches are being built up nicely. So far, the matches on the card are Chris Sabin versus Moose. You may be wondering why Chris Sabin and Moose are facing off at Slammiversary. Why not have Moose in the world title picture? Well, the story behind the Chris Sabin match with Moose is that on the May 6th episode of Impact, Moose defeated James Storm to qualify for a number one contenders six-way match at Under Siege, and after that match he would go on to deliberately injure Storm's ankle after by wrapping it around in a chair and stepping on it, and before Chris Sabin would come out and try to save Storm, and then that would lead to the Impact after Against All Odds, when Moose tried to hold the show hostage to get Soptamore's attention because he had the match with Kenny Omega, and a lot of shenanigans went down, and the match wound up being thrown out. And he just wanted his rematch, but instead Sabin, whose knee was injured in that match at Under Siege, returned and attacked Moose, and backstage Sabin challenged Moose to a match, which he accepted. So that's the backstory of how that match came to be. And then the other match is an Ultimate X match for the X Division Championship. So again, Against All Odds, Petey Williams, Trey Miguel, Ace Austin, Chris Bay, and Rohit Raju competed in a 5-way match to determine the number 1 contender for Josh Alexander's X Division Championship. However, Ace Austin's bodyguard, Madman Fulton, interfered and attacked all the other competitors, which resulted in that match also being ruled as a no contest. Therefore, on the June 17th episode of Impact, it was announced that Alexander would defend the X Division Championship at Slammiversary against all 5 men in an Ultimate X match. So, and this is the first Ultimate X match in over 2 years, actually. I think the last one that was had was at their Impact Wrestling's January, Homecoming pay-per-view, which was in January 2019. So it should be, all those X Division matches are always high-octane matches, and adding the Ultimate X stipulation just makes it, takes it to the next level of absolute action. And then the last match that has been set on the card at this stage is Kenny Omega versus Sami Callihan for the Impact World Championship. So on the Impact before, against all odds, Impact Wrestling EVP Scott D'Amore and AEW President Tony Khan announced that the winner of the Impact World Championship main event between Kenny Omega and Moose would go on to Slammiversary, and where they would defend the championship against Callihan, who had been attempting to get into the title picture and on the brunt of frequent attacks by Omega and the Good Brothers and Don Callis as well. So against all odds, Omega retained the title by getting disqualified because the Young Buck came out and super kicked Moose pretty much to death. But then after the match, Sami Callihan appeared and attacked the entire Elite with a baseball bat, and he was about to, he grabbed a steel chair and was about to do smash the baseball bat on the chair like he did to Eddie Edwards, early on in his career. And as he was about to do that, Don Callis, who was also an EVP, fired Callihan. So on the following episode, Tommy Dreamer was brought in by Anthem, which is the owners of Impact Wrestling and Anthem Sports and Entertainment, to be as a spokesman for the board of directors, and announced that the board had reinstated Callihan, Sami Callihan, and subsequently fired Don Callis from his role as an executive vice president, and making the world title main event official. So, my tips, my predictions for each of the matches would be, first for the Moose versus Chris Sabin one. Moose, I just don't see anyone stopping him. The fact that he's not in the main event is going to actually light a fire under him, and he's just been tearing it up in Impact Wrestling since last October, since Bound for Glory, when he had that match with EC3, and so he's just been on a tear since then. He's recently re-signed with the company for 2 years, so that means the company does have big plans for him, and that was actually mentioned as well. So I see him going over in dominant fashion. I do see either James Storm returning or Alex Shelley returning. Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin's normal tag team partner with the Motor City Machine Guns. So I see either one of them returning, but I don't see that it will have any bearing on Chris Sabin actually winning the match, though. I just think that Moose will be dominant. So for the Ultimate X match, this is a tough one. At this stage, I love what Josh Alexander is doing with the title, but I would like to see Ace Austin or Trey Miguel win at this stage, or maybe even Rohit Raju. No, going with Rohit Raju. I just love his cocky heel attitude. Even though he's a very unsuccessful heel, you just gotta love the fact that he tries. But that's why he's my sentimental favorite. But as for the actual person, I think for who's going to win the match, I think it's Ace Austin. I'm going with Ace Austin for that one. And for the Kenny Omega Sami Callihan match, now this is interesting because recent reports have said that Impact Wrestling, before they put Kenny Omega in that match to actually win the World Championship, that they already had plans for him to actually lose the championship, and it would be like against one of the biggest shows in the year and against an opponent who was worthy of winning it. So I'm not sure if that opponent is Sami Callihan, because I don't think Sami Callihan is actually meant to be in the world title picture at this early stage. I know he's also re-signed, and having him in this match would be a way to say, yeah, he's the main event caliber star, but I don't have him winning this match. I still think Moose is going to be the one to take the championship off Kenny Omega, and that would be at the next pay-per-view, which would be at Bound for Glory. So I'm going to go with Kenny Omega for winning this match. And yeah, at this stage, those are all the matches. But as far as who's going to be appearing, like who's going to be debuting or returning, we know that it's not Samoa Joe, because he was re-signed to NXT because Triple H really wanted him to be in WWE. I'm not sure about Mickie James. I know she's doing a pay-per-view with NWA, which is an all-women's one. Chelsea Green. Now, Impact Wrestling have been dropping some major hints that she would possibly be signing, given the fact that they've just had a recent Impact in 60, which was based around her greatest matches. And the fact that her fiance Matt Cardona, better known as Zack Ryder in WWE, is also at Impact Wrestling at the moment, so she might want to go and work with him. Kazuchika Okada, again, we don't know, because the borders may be still up between the US and Japan, so we don't know. He may have to do a period of quarantine, but at this stage, I'm not sure. Same with Tetsuya Naito, Takahashi, and the Great Muta. Great Muta unfortunately lost the GHC Global Championship in Noah, so the thing of having him come to Impact and defend that championship on Impact in Impact Wrestling is gone now, but we still may get the Great Muta and all the other Japanese guys appearing. Kalisto, I haven't heard any talk about him apart from those initial Slammiversary videos. The Iconics, Scott D'Amore seems to be suggesting that they are highly likely to sign because and immediately go for the Knockouts Tag Team Championships because Fire and Flavor have run through all of the other Knockouts Tag Teams. And then we've also seen, it would be interesting to see which member of Bullet Club appears, or which members actually appear. Steve Cutler has already debuted. And so the thing is that will Wesley Blake join him or not? And I highly doubt that Daniel Bryan is going to be signing for Impact Wrestling because he's just wanting to take some time off from wrestling, that heavy workload that he had with WWE. So I'll just give him a couple more months and just wait for him to decide where he wants to go and what he wants to do. Thanks guys for watching the video. And leave a comment down below on who you think would most likely be debuting at Slammiversary, and let me know your picks for the matches at this stage. Thanks guys.